What's up, everyone? With the release of James Gunn's Suicide Squad, we now have 11 movies in the DCEU, so that means it's time to rank them. Real quick before we jump into the ranking, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's really appreciated. And leave a comment down below. Tell me your ranking of the DCEU movies. I expect them to vary quite a bit. And remember, this is just my opinion. Everyone's ranking is going to be different, so don't get too mad if I have a movie you like lower or a movie you don't like higher, because this is just my opinion. Anyways, let's get right into the ranking. So coming in at number 11, and this has been my least favorite movie really since I rewatched it after I initially saw it in theaters, and that's going to be Suicide Squad from 2016. This movie is really just a mess at this point, especially now that we got kind of almost the remake of it in a way. It's a kind of a remake, kind of reboot, kind of Suicide Squad movie. Anyways, but this movie is just very bland. It's not fun. This Suicide Squad is a concept that's supposed to be really violent and gory and fun and dark, with lots of dark comedy stuff, and this movie just isn't that. It's just very bland, and honestly, this movie's very boring. It's a very hard movie to get through. I do not look forward to having to watch it for like a ranking or something. It's just not a fun movie to watch, where it definitely should be. There's way too many songs in here. I don't know what they were thinking. There's just different kind of popular songs scattered throughout the film that just don't really add much to the movie and just get very tiresome very quickly. And this movie, like I said, it's just not fun, anywhere near as fun as it should be. The villain in this movie is absolutely horrible. My least favorite villain in the entire DCEU. The only good thing about this movie, I think, is the cast was pretty good. I liked Will Smith as Deadshot. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn obviously has turned out to be great. But overall, this is a very just bland and boring Suicide Squad film that is really a mess with lots of cheesy moments. And it's just a very hard movie to watch for me. So coming at number 10 from 2017 is going to be Justice League. This is just a little bit above Suicide Squad. Obviously, this movie is a mess. We've heard about it endlessly since with the release of the Snyder Cut and everything, with all the studio interference that went on and switching directors and everything that happened. But this movie really just feels like an incoherent mess of a movie. It moves way too quickly. You don't even know what's going on half the time. It feels like it's just a collage of scenes as it moves from scene to scene to scene, and you just really have a hard time getting invested in this plot. And as a result, by the end of the movie, you don't care what's happening. Things are just happening in front of you. You don't care. There's no investment. There's no payoff. There's no fan service. There's nothing like that. You're just watching scene by scene by scene of just this kind of boring Justice League movie. I don't think it's like outright terrible, but it's a very frustrating movie. The dialogue is also really rough at times. A lot of like scenes that Joss Whedon added that don't work. It's just a very bad movie that obviously has gotten enough hate over the years. I know a lot of people have it at number 11, but I find this movie a little more watchable than Suicide Squad, and a little more entertaining, especially because I do like the heroes in this movie. But anyways, Justice League comes in at number 10. So coming in at number 9 is going to be Wonder Woman 1984. It's been a little while since I've seen this movie, but the plot of this movie was just terrible. It has this like monkey paw plot where the villain's like controlling things. It's just a very bland and unoriginal plot that really drags down the movie for me. It made this movie, I really expected to like this movie because I really liked the first Wonder Woman, and pretty much everybody was returning, and it was just a very weird direction they took this movie. I just also think there's a lot of cheesy moments in this movie, like Cheetah didn't entirely work. Wonder Woman doesn't feel as good as she is in her other movies, it's just a very like, if this whole movie just feels off for some reason, and especially when it came out, with it being like the first big movie release in a while, it was really disappointing, and it just, like I said, it just feels off. There's some cool action scenes in here, and obviously Gal Gadot is good as Wonder Woman, but for the most part, I just really had a hard time with this movie. Coming in at number 8, and now we're getting into movies I actually like and would give a positive score to. I really do enjoy every single movie from here on out. They're not perfect, but I do enjoy them. So number 8 is going to be Birds of Prey. This is a fun little Harley Quinn film that's very Harley Quinn centered as she kind of recovers from her breakup with the Joker. It's a very fun movie. It kind of like twists your ideas and everything. It's just and the humor is very funny, and it's a very enjoyable film. I like Ewan McGregor as the villain in here. Margot Robbie obviously is great as Harley Quinn. The action in this movie is really good. It's some of the strongest action in the entire DCEU, and it really does benefit from an R rating in this movie. Lots of kind of dark comedic stuff that's very fun, lots of blood and gore, and that just makes this movie very enjoyable on that scale. However, my only issue with this movie is, and it's kind of a big issue, is I've always thought this movie feels very safe. In DCEU, you usually have big ideas, big projects that really make you think and, really try something. Whether or not it works, it's trying something. This movie has always felt very small scale. It makes sense that it was small scale at the time of when it was filmed, with how they had been struggling. But that always hurts this movie for me because I'm not very interested in the plot. It's just a very small, simple little Harley Quinn plot, the Harley Quinn movie, and it's enjoyable. It works. It's just, I've always thought it was a little safe. So coming at number 7 is going to be Batman vs. Superman, The Dawn of Justice. This is a movie I really liked when I first saw it in theaters, and I've kind of slowly gone down on it with every rewatch. But now I've kind of just accepted it as a very fun, fan service Zack Snyder Batman vs. Superman movie that is definitely a little bloated. The Batman vs. Superman stuff really works for me. It's a little cheesy at times, yes, but it does work. And I don't like the whole Martha stuff towards the end, but like, for the most part, the fight is cool and you really feel the tension and you feel like these guys hate each other for the most part. It's not perfect, but it works enough for me. The issue here is that it's very bloated, this whole movie. There's too much going on. They're focusing too much on trying to set up Justice League. There's not enough set up for this movie. That we should have gotten a Batman movie before this and maybe even a Wonder Woman movie before this. But like I said, the action's really cool. Hans Zimmer's score in this movie is really good. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's very long, especially with the ultimate cut being 3 hours. But I do have fun with this movie. It has a lot of good action moments, a lot of good tension moments with Batman and Superman. It's just, like I said, it feels too bloated. So coming at number 6 is going to be Man of Steel. I've never quite understood the craze for this movie. I really like Zack Snyder's take on Superman, a much darker take, a much more realistic take on Superman. Henry Cavill is awesome as Superman. Probably my favorite Superman. Him and Christopher Reeve are both great, but Henry Cavill does such a good job as Superman. The action in this movie is also really cool. There's just a lot of good Superman action, and it looks very good. Zack Snyder's kind of visionary skills are on display here. There's a lot of good shots. I love the opening scenes on Krypton with Russell Crowe and everything. I think those work very well. I've just never quite understood the hype around this movie. I think it's good. I don't think it's great in any category. It's good enough for me, but I don't quite get why people love it so much. Anyways, I do enjoy it. So Man of Steel comes in here at number 6. So coming at number 5 is going to be Shazam. I think this is a very fun little family superhero movie. I really like Zachary Levi as Shazam. He's very enjoyable. There's a lot of funny moments in this movie. Prior to Suicide Squad, this was the funniest movie in the DCEU. The characters are good. There's a lot of heart and emotion in this movie. Surprisingly, a lot of emotion, especially in the second half of the film as the kind of movie builds up. The plot is very solid, and it's just, but like I said, this is a character-driven movie. It's about Shazam and kind of his family and that kind of stuff. And I really like this movie. There's a lot of good moments in this movie. With the same thing with Birds of Prey, I do feel this movie is very small scale and safe, and that does hurt my experience with it a little bit, because if I'm watching a superhero movie, I want big ideas, I want crazy concepts, crazy action. This movie definitely feels a little safe to me, but nonetheless, I think Shazam is a great movie. And getting into these top 5, I really do like all these 5 movies. I would give them very high scores. I think these are the top tier DCEU movies. Anyways, Shazam comes in here at number 5. Coming at number 4 is going to be Aquaman. This is a very fun and cheesy adventure movie, very much an adventure movie, as it's very traditional with what James Wan goes for here. I really love the characters in this movie, particularly Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa. He does such a good job as Aquaman in this movie. I've always loved the underwater stuff. I think James Gunn does as good of a job as you can expect with this movie being underwater and kind of accommodating to that. I think it's a very enjoyable film. There's yes, it's really cheesy at times, and a lot of people will crap on that. It's similar to Black Panther. I get it, but I think this movie's a lot of fun. Seeing it in theaters was a great experience because, like I said, it just feels like this blockbuster, fun superhero film, and that's what it is, and it works for me. So anyways, I really like Aquaman. I have a ton of fun with it, so it comes in here at number 4. Getting into the top 3 now we're getting into movies I really like, and at number 3 is going to be Wonder Woman. This used to be my favorite DCEU movie less than a year ago, before the 2 most recent ones. But as things change, as we get new movies, this is now at number 3. I really think the cast in this movie is great. Gal Gadot obviously is amazing as Wonder Woman. She's such a great protagonist in this film, and you really are rooting for her throughout the entire movie. Chris Pine's also a great addition to this movie, as his character is also very enjoyable and kind of adds an element to this movie. I love the historical setting of World War I. I think it works very well. It definitely adds some flavor and some style to the movie that really help it along the way. I love the kind of Wonder Woman mythology with the Amazonians in this movie. I think it could have been fleshed out a little more, but for the most part, I think it's really good. And I love the kind of humanity messages in this movie, kind of with, you know, good versus evil, that kind of stuff. I really like that in this movie, as it's a kind of realistic take. It feels very much like a Zack Snyder idea in this movie, and it's done very well. It's just, in this movie, while it is fun, there's a lot of funny moments in this movie with the kind of the fish out of the water stuff. It's also just a hard-hitting movie with some good emotion and some good tensions building throughout the film. My only issue with this movie is the villain has always been pretty weak for me, but overall I absolutely love Wonder Woman. This movie completely blew me away when I first saw it, and it comes in here at number 3. So coming out at number 2 is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, or whatever you want to call it. It's just so good that this movie actually got made and got released. Obviously, after all the studio interference with Justice League, now we actually got Zack Snyder's version of the movie. And it was so awesome back in March, I believe, when we got a chance to see this movie and see everything pay off and play out, and just see what was originally supposed to happen back in 2017. It was very enjoyable. I love just the awesome fan service in this movie. There's lots of awesome action, and Zack Snyder knows how to treat the fans to an epic superhero film. And this movie is very long, 4 hours, which allows room for lots of solid character development and great character moments that add a lot of emotion to the movie and add a lot of depth to the movie and these characters. In this 4-hour movie, he takes a hard task of fleshing out these superheroes who have no previous movies in the DCEU, and you really grow to care about them by the end of the movie. Zack Snyder does such a great job with handling this epic scale plot, and for me it worked very well. I loved every second of it. I was so glad to get a chance to see it. Yes, it's a little long at 4 hours, but you have to remember this is the director's definitive director cut of the movie. So, you know, the theatrical cut wouldn't have been 4 hours. But anyways, I absolutely love this movie. I think Zack Snyder did everything he should have with this movie. The final act is just an epic action sequence with lots of fan service moments. Every hero getting their chance to shine. It's just a very enjoyable movie from start to finish. I absolutely love the Snyder Cut, and it comes in here at number 2. So coming at number 1 is going to be Suicide Squad from 2021, the newest movie in the DCEU, and it's already at my number 1. This might seem a little high for a lot of people. I know a lot of people were kind of like 4 stars, 4.5 stars. I absolutely love this film from start to finish. It was the most fun I've had in a movie in a long time. Of a new release, it's the most fun I've had in a while. It's easily already one of my favorite comic book movies ever. I just loved every second of this movie. I loved James Gunn's style as he brings this flavor and this humor to this movie that just works so well, and it blends so well with the Suicide Squad concept. I love the concept of, you know, you don't know who's going to die, but you know people are going to die. It keeps you invested throughout the entire film. The action in this movie is awesome. The R rating allows for some epic gore, some dark humor, and some lots of blood and guts and everything that, you know, make a R rating movie so much fun. The cast of this movie is very good, and James Gunn utilizes them very well, with Idris Elba coming in as Bloodsport, who's very good. Margot Robbie returning as Harley Quinn. She's obviously great in that role. John Cena even in here does a great job, and the cast, like I said, is just awesome. Like I said, this movie is just entertaining from start to finish. It feels like a fulfilled Suicide Squad film. After the debacle that was 2016, this movie just lives up to the concept of the Suicide Squad. It's tons of fun. I love this movie so much. It was such a good theater experience, and this movie is just non-stop fun. So anyways, Suicide Squad from 2021 comes in here at number 1. I love this movie. It's just, like I said, one of the most fun movies I've ever seen. Anyways, that's going to do it for my ranking of all 11 DCEU movies. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Tell me your ranking of the movies down below. I expect them to vary quite a bit, as this is a very kind of weird franchise. A lot of movies a lot of people like, and a lot of movies people don't like, and there's a lot of movies that mix within people's rankings. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.